Welcome to Ask a Property Manager, episode number 122. What is going on in the Buffalo real estate market? Should you be buying? Should you be selling? Where is all of our inventory? We're going to be taking a look at our local market today. Stay tuned. So today we're going to be taking a look at our local market here in Western New York. I'm going to be pulling up an article from Buffalo Business First here in just a moment. And then we're going to be talking about a few different market stats. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and jump right into the article here. Trend or anomaly, Erie County's property closings dropped nearly 14% in April. Real estate closings dropped nearly 14% in April. Why? Inventory or the lack of it is considered the main culprit. Real estate closings for residential and commercial property decreased in April of this year compared to April of 2021, according to data compiled by Buffalo Business First based on filings in the Erie County Clerk's Office. The County Clerk's Office reported 1662 real estate transactions in April of 22 compared to 1926 in April of 21, almost a 14% decrease. April's closings were the lowest since December of 2021 with 1,800 deals. The question becomes, is April the start of a downward trend or a one-month anomaly? It's hard to outdo new records month after month, said Bo Gurney, Becker and Bourne, Vice President of Operations. At some point, you reach a saturation point. MJ Peterson Corporation's Terry Campbell said April numbers reflect the limited residential inventory. It was ridiculous how little there was, she said. New residential listings, according to the Buffalo Niagara Association of Realtors, were 839 on April 30, 2022. On the same date in 2021, the Multiple Listing Network reported 959 single-family homes. In April of 2019, there were 1,235. In April of 2022, 625 residential deals closed compared to 795 in April of 21, a 21.4% drop. Call it a lack of inventory, Gurney said. The commercial side also has limited inventory, though no hard numbers are compiled or available. I will say this, like residential, we do not have a lot of inventory, said Robert McDonald, Hunt Real Estate Corp. Chief Operating Officer. The supply just isn't there. Our hope is that inventory does come on the market. The supply is tight for warehouse, distribution, and light manufacturing space, he said. CBRE Buffalo's is reporting a 1.5% vacancy rate for more than 68 million square feet of warehouse, distribution, and light manufacturing space in the Buffalo Niagara region. So we're going to go ahead and we'll jump back to our article here in just a minute. But this is actually a pretty good indicator as to what is happening in the market right now. This is kind of a shorter article. I'm going to expand on it here with some more stats. These stats are from the end of April 2022, and as I'm recording this, it's June 1st, so the May stats are not yet out. But based on what I can tell you internally on the MLS, there's going to be largely more of the same. Very tight inventory, not a lot out there in terms of inventory, and it's definitely having an impact on the market. So I'm going to be speaking specifically on single-family homes, condos, and townhouses. I don't have any data available for multifamily currently. Or on commercial or raw land. So I'm not going to be including any of that in these statistics. It's predominantly going to be single family and townhouses. So the average days on market before going under contract was 17 days in April of 22 and 23 days in April of 21. And again, this is data pulled right from the MLS. This shows that properties are obviously going under contract faster now than they were even the same time last year. And we all know that inventory was tight even last year. The main reason for this is obviously no inventory. So when you're discussing inventory levels, we typically look at things in terms of months supply. Essentially what that means is in the event that there were no more properties listed for sale on the open market, how long would it take for every property currently in the MLS to go under contract? And essentially that's how many months of inventory you have on market. So as of April 2022, we have under 1 month of inventory in the market. This is again very similar to the market in April of last year. And in fact, we haven't had over 2 months of inventory in the market since back in 2019. At that point, we had just over 2 months supply, not even 2.5 full months of supply. So we were like just cresting into that 2 months of supply mark. Typically speaking, you would consider a market to be a seller's market anytime there's an inventory of less than 3 months on the market. So we are in a deep seller's market here in Buffalo right now. Anytime you have 3 or more months of inventory on the market, that would be considered a buyer's market. And at that point, typically you're going to start to see the number of days on market climb, as well as fewer situations where you're in a multiple offer situation, and generally speaking, you're also going to find that properties aren't going for quite so significantly over asking price, if they're going for over asking price at all. Once you start to have a buyer's market, you start to see things like seller's concessions and actual negotiation on home inspections and things of that. It's a totally different setup than what we've had these last couple of years. Less congestion in the market makes it easier for people to buy. And obviously, if you're a seller, this is the market for you, the seller's market that we're in right now. I just mentioned that properties are going for over asking price. So in April of 2022, we're seeing that properties are going for, again, on average, about 108% over their list price. 108% of their list price, so 8% over their actual list price. The last time we saw inventory selling for less than list price on average was all the way back in June of 2020, and that was only down to 99.8% of list price. So everything was basically selling at list price as far back as June 2020, and even prior to that, we were still in the high 90s. So it's not like we were seeing huge dips in prices when people were coming in and making offers. Obviously, there are exceptions to that. There's always somebody who gets a good deal, but for the most part, people have been paying market or more than market for quite a while now. This shows us that buyers are still willing to pay more than list price for properties, at least as of April 2022. I know we're going to see the same thing in May of 2022. And on a more personal level, I have noted that the cost of rural raw land is going up pretty significantly. And the reason I say that is because I've been watching the Cattaraugus County foreclosure auction, specifically looking at raw land, some acreage down in the Cattaraugus County area. And the auction ends today. Actually, I'm sorry, no, the auction ended yesterday, and I'm legitimately shocked at the prices of some of the properties that I've seen. For instance, like, raw acreage is going for way more than what I would have expected it to. Actually, some of the properties that I saw, the actual properties with improvements with buildings on them, went for less than what I was expecting, but the raw land was going for more than what I had anticipated. So it's not very often you see raw land be super popular in a foreclosure auction, and I think that that's something that will probably continue in the short term. Raw land sales being a little bit higher than average, but I think that that's probably something that's going to level off sometime within the next year or so. So if you're a seller, the market's still red hot. If you're in the position where you're looking to sell, now might be the time to do it. The market is certainly in your favor. However, all of that said, if you have to replace whatever you're selling, obviously it's going to be a challenge for you to find a replacement property. What do you think? Are you still buying in this market? Are you considering selling? Are you trying to buy your first home, or are you an investor just trying to grow your portfolio? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.